Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador. So excited to see you today. I hope you had a great weekend. And guess what? We're back to sewing and crafting. A lot of crafting today. So I'm so excited. Cathy Gandy's going to be joining us. And let me just give you a hint. There's a lot going on. And all I could think of was I've got all my nieces and nephews coming up here shortly to the cottage. And she's going to give us some pretty good ideas. And we're going to be using the Sublimation Printer. Let's see, the Stellaire, because there's a sewing project. I have to bring her up because there's a lot going on here. So welcome, everyone. Say hi, say where you're from, and let's welcome Cathy Gandy to the party. Cathy, I lost it at Sublimation because we were just chatting about that because you've got such cute projects.
Yeah, it's this Sublimation and the ScanNCut. Of course, we use Artspira, and then a little sewing.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So when you're doing, the theme is Grandma Camp.
Yes. Yeah, I got, it was going to be a summer's kids camp, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know what goes on in a kids camp anymore. I'm way past that. So, if I sent my kids to a kids camp, they would say I was crazy because I'm a 40, 50-year-old kid. But anyway. So I decided it would be a grandma camp. So if they come to grandma's house, then we can do some crafting things. And then I can, maybe we could go for a hike one day, and maybe we could do a little sewing. And then maybe we could go do a little gardening, and just whatever grandma wants. You just make a theme. And what I did was I want to do a t-shirt or an apron for them. So we put just a logo on it and Kids Camp 2024. So they can remember that's what they did with grandma that year.
Oh my gosh. I told my husband about this, that you were doing this. And he said, are you going to make t-shirts for the kids? I'm like, what are we going to call it? So my husband's name is Win. Of course, I'm Angela. But if we shorten it to Wingy, we're going to call it Wingy's Camp.
Oh, fun.
So do you want to show them? Give them a little preview of what you're going to be doing here.
Okay, so I did the three. I did a hike and sewing and gardening. The gardening's last because I'm not very good at it, but I give it a try. So, of course, that's the first one I pick. But this is what I did was I made an apron for him, so it has a pocket. And so I did the sublimation. So this is the sublimation right here, and I'll show you how to get there in Artspira. And then I cut out heat transfer letters. And I did that in Artspira and sent it over to my ScanNCut and cut out the letters. And I'll talk more about that later. And then I do want to show you, I printed out on sublimation paper, I printed out my design, and then I printed out, I printed out several of them, but I did one so I could show you what it looks like before you do the sublimation, and then I kept the one that after the sublimation so you could see what it looks like. So see if you have the right look that you're supposed to have with those. Not that I did it right, but we'll see. It's just a lot of fun, and I just really love this. And with the sublimation, you're going to get a lot more detail than you will with the ScanNCut. So that's why I just did my letters in the ScanNCut, and I'll show you why I did that. And then I did the sublimation. So this is for gardening. And then on a t-shirt, I did the same, a kids camp, but then I have a little take a hike boot on there. So I thought that was cute. And that's in Artspira. And then I did sewing. So this is also in Artspira. And you have the sewing logo and Kids Camp 2024. So that for the sewing part, we went ahead and did just a lunch bag. So they will make a lunch bag. Just very easy. And it closes with hook and loop tape. So you can open it up and you have the hook and loop tape. And I want to show you how to sew that on with our bi-level foot. It's amazing. Bi-level foot is really nice.
I think that the kids are going to love that. They're going to love this, Cathy, and everybody's saying that too.
Good, good. All right. So before we go over to the machine, I just want to show you real quick and tell you a few of my boo-boos. I don't know how many of you have done the sublimation, but I have done several things that I wasn't great. So I wanted to tell you about them before I forgot. So one thing about sublimation is that you have to get the heat press hot enough. It needs to be hot to be able to transfer, to turn that ink into a gas and put it into the fabric. But also you need enough pressure for it to get hard enough down on the fabric to be able to transfer it. So this is, I don't know if you can see this or not. See, this is printed on the sublimation paper, and that one at the bottom is after it was sublimated onto the fabric, so on the apron. So you can see the difference, how much ink it takes out. So I wanted you to see that, and I wanted you to see that I did the first thing I did was, and I tried to hide it, but I guess I should show you. On this apron, which is really kind of bright and pretty, I put it on backwards. So my pocket is back behind here instead of on front. So I thought I would try again. And so when I did it with this one, I did it again. But with this one, I did it after I used the heat press to press the letters on here. And with this is very thick because it has the insulation layer. So I have the silver insulation padding in here. And then this is really thick canvas-like. And then the lining. So this is really thick. So I had to loosen the pressure on the heat press. And so when I went to do this, I wasn't thinking on this one here, not on this one, not on this one. I wasn't thinking, and I left the pressure loosened, and you can see compared to this one, I think you can see how much lighter this one is. You can sort of, and it casts a shadow on it too. So you want to make sure that you have enough pressure. And then you want to go ahead and make sure that you use topping on it. So some parchment paper or something. So if something gets on that upper plate, it doesn't transfer down to what you're sublimating at the time, because I have a little shadow of the hiking boot on that one too. So you just have to be a little careful, check your pressure, just check your machine every time you do it, like I should have, but I didn't. But just a warning, if you're going to be doing a lot of sublimation, just give it a check and think about what you did before so you'll get your machine ready. And before I forget, I also want to tell you that when you do the sublimation, if you pick it from Artspira, there is a section in Artspira, just a button that you push, and it says Heat Guide. You can press that. It will take you to the Brother Solution Center, and it will tell you how to set the heat for what you're doing. So I think that's really nice.
You know, Cathy, that's a really nice tip. And somebody showed that recently in Artspira, and I thought that's brilliant, because this is such a different medium than just going to the sewing machine or the embroidery, where we kind of have in our mind what stabilizer to use, things like that. The heat is a major thing for this. And so yes, some people have asked, do I have to get a heat press? Can I use an iron? And we keep recommending that they use a heat press because of the even heat. But what a great thing that Artspira put on the temperature. Makes it easy for us beginners.
Yeah, most of them require at least a 390-degree heat. And I'm not so sure an iron can get that hot. And if you do it, if you don't use the hot enough heat and it's not so much the heat as the pressure. So I know that I couldn't push hard enough to give it enough pressure to get that ink deep enough in there. So the pressure is another really good thing that you have to think about.
Definitely. And so I see a few other people asking questions. We'll let her get going on this, and then I'll take all your questions like in a little bit.
So well, I can answer some questions now if you want, and then we can go to Artspira.
Oh, sure. Okay, so Julie says, don't forget to use heat-resistant tape. I just bought some, Julie. I just bought some.
Yes. And I did use it on one thing, and it sort of shadowed on it, so I don't know. I use it for the mugs and stuff, yeah.
I haven't done mugs yet. In fact, my sublimation printer's right here, and I'm excited to use it. I was waiting until you came on, because you always tell what not to do, and then I'll know to take that right off the list.
Exactly. I like to make the mistakes. That's my forte. It's not something I do on purpose, but I do a lot of it.
Oh, well, and we're experimenting. That's what happens. And lastly, someone wanted to know, did you make those aprons, or are they?
No, I purchased them. Those are, they're polyester, and I did purchase them. I just looked for children's apron blanks and polyester children's apron blanks. And I think I got them in a pack of 4 or 5.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that makes it even faster. All right. Wendy's camp is getting better. All right, Cathy.
And just make sure you do it with a pocket up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get so excited about doing something that you don't pay attention that you should be paying attention to. So I have to keep thinking and keep my mind going and think, cover all your bases, not just get excited and just put it on there. Make sure it's turned right side around.
All right. That was it for now. So I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to switch cameras then. So give me a second here.
Yolanda, I see you asking about what heat press to purchase. Well, it's not a Brother product, but if you search online, there's some just look at the reviews, and also call your Brother dealer, because quite a few of them are carrying those now. So keep that in mind too. And then you might know the difference there. All right, Cathy, back to you.
All righty. All right. So here's Artspira. And I'm sure all of you have heard about Artspira probably several times. But what I did was I went into Sublimation, and you're going to see you have different categories here to pick. And I picked a logo. And it comes up, and I think I did fashion. And here, when you come to the fashion, you're going to see the take a hike, and you're going to see the sewing. And then the gardening thing was over in the illustrations. But let's go ahead and just take this here. Now, this is a sublimation. So when you do sublimation, because you have it upside down, it has to be rotated. I mean, it has to be mirror imaged. So if I come to create, and here it is, and I'm going to say done. It turns it for me if it knows that it's using my sublimation printer. And so my Brother SP1 sublimation printer is up there. Now, I also have the print Moda. So it's also on here. So if I checked it would turn back around and it would print it on my fabric printer. So you have to make sure that you come here and you have the right one checked, or you'll have a piece of fabric instead of sublimation. So, and here, right down here, because it knows that I'm on sublimation, is your heat guide. So you can push that and it will take you over into the Brother support. Now, if I want to do something with this, say this wasn't the right size, if I select it, let's go back. If I go to new here, oh, never mind. I did this about 10 times, and now I'm getting confused. Here we go, printing. That's not what I want. Okay. Okay, so create. And then, okay. So I went to create, and then you need to select it. I always forget to select it. And once you select it, all of these icons will open up. So we have effect, so that will change colors of it. You have move, so with the move, you also are going to have the rotate and the flip, and then you can move it wherever you want on there. And then you also have size. So you can change the size of it if you want. So you're not stuck with the preset. You can change the size. So you just have to remember to select it first. If you don't select it, then these icons will not show up. And I do forget to select it quite a bit. So I'm just going to say okay and done there. And then when I wanted to print it, I would just put print, and it would just print it, and I'd be ready to do the sublimation with it. Is there any questions about that?
No, everybody's just saying they love it. And somebody just says that they did a lot of research, has the Sublimation Printer, and loves it. All right. Love to hear that.
Yeah. All right. So now, go back here, and then we'll go back here. And I think in the illustrations, I'll just let you see a few of these that are in sublimation. So look at all these cute things. I was going to do one of the little multicolored animals and take them to the zoo, but then I didn't do that. But anyway, I just thought those were so cute because there's several of them. And there's birds, so aren't they cute? I just think there's some of the multicolored birds. They're just precious. I just love it. And they're so colorful. You've got a lot of colors, and the sublimation just does wonderful with the colors. So there's just all kinds of ones that you can do. And I think
those are so cute. Those are rich.
Yeah, aren't they? It's just wonderful. There's just one thing after another they're just really fun. And I'll come to the vegetables, and then here is the basket of vegetables that I picked for gardening. So you just have to sort of search. I could have done a little vegetable face, but you can just search through there and find all kinds of wonderful things. So that is the sublimation. You have combination. The combination is kind of fun because it lets you combine. You can combine. This is going to be printing, so you can print on your fabric and then do some embroidery on it. So part of this is embroidery. I think it's I'm not sure, maybe the bear, but some of that is embroidery. So it's a lot of fun. All right, so let's just go back here. Now, we all know about the ScanNCut and how wonderful the ScanNCut. So I do have my ScanNCut connected to my Artspira here. So when I came to cutting designs, I did come to new on this one. And I did design editor. And I did the alphabet. So this is just what I did. I wanted to do Kids Camp 2024. So I came here and just did cap locks and did Kids Camp. I can't type and talk at the same time. Obviously, I can't type either, but it's just... Okay, and I didn't put a space there, but that's okay. So we can go to our lettering. Oops, never mind. You can go to the plus here. Never mind. I'm just going to hit done. I keep doing the same thing. So let's cancel. Let's touch this, and once I touch it, all my icons open up. So just don't be like me. Just remember to keep touching what you've typed in there. It's just like the computer. It has to be selected for you to get all these icons. So I need everybody to type in Cathy, touch it. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to come down here to font. And now I have all these different fonts that I can pick from. So I can just scroll until I find the font that I like. And I'm not sure, I think I'm going back up to what this. Well, let's keep going. But you have a lot of them in here, a lot that you can pick from. Let's just pick that one. That's fine. And then I'm going to say done. So now I want to mirror image this because I'm using heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl is just like the sublimation. You're going to cut it upside down, so you need to mirror image it. So I'm going to go ahead and come to move, and I'm going to do flip, and I'm going to flip it to mirror image it. So now I've got it mirror imaged. And then I want to duplicate it as many times as I need. So I'm going to come over to duplication, and I'm going to maybe do 6 and say done. So I'm going to take them, and I'm going to move them. And get them where I want them. Just so that they're sort of spaced. Nice. And then I will say okay. And I will say done. Okay. Well, and I'll just save it. I'll just cancel. I'm not sure. Okay. So after you get it all done, you're going to send it to your ScanNCut. And what I did was I cut out the 6 of them, and I just wanted you to see what it's like here. I don't know, can you see that? So this is 3 of them. I still have the 3 up here so that I can scrape this off and just peel that back, and then I get my other 3. You can see how you just peel this. And then what I did was, as you can see on the sewing one, I did it all the way over. On the shoe, I did this and then this down by the shoe. So what I did was I just cut them apart. So you just print the sayings that you want. If you want to do their names, then you can do that separately on another one. So I just cut them apart. And then if I just wanted to place this some other place, I would just clip that off. Then I would stick this where I wanted it, and then I would stick this where I wanted it, and press them down and heat transfer them. So I really kind of like that I can just print them all out and then just cut them apart and use them where I want them. So on, I don't know if you remember or not, on this one, it just was Kids Camp and then 2024 underneath. On the shirt, it was Kids Camp, and then I put the 2024 over by the shoe just because of the shape of it. I just thought that looked cute. So I was able to manipulate the letters how I wanted them. I printed them out and cut them all at the same time. Took 6 minutes to cut it. It's so amazing. And then I could just place the little pieces where I wanted them by just cutting them apart.
Those
so
are
is there
so
any
cute.
questions? So one thing that you can get from this is don't make the mistakes I do, and remember to select it. Once you select it, then you can alter it.
Good tip, good tip.
I do that all the time. Anyway, sorry. So then you can see all the wonderful designs that you can get in here. These are some new cutting designs. I just think that they're so cute. So there's just amazing things that you can do. And Artspira just has so much in it that you can just combine different techniques and come out with some really nice projects.
Hey, Cathy, Yolanda wants to know, can you take the letters out of the shoe, or did that design come that way? Let's take a hike.
I never tried that. That's with the sublimation. I don't think that you can. It's under logo and fashion. And
it looks like it's all built in.
Yeah, as far as editing goes, let's see. Well, that didn't work. That was delete, but okay. All right, so it doesn't have where I can select an area and get rid of it, so I would say no. But I'm I hate to give a definite answer because as you can see, I sometimes I don't see everything down here, but effect here is just different colors of shoes. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you have that one, and then you can scroll and add more. So you can do the different colors. So there's a lot of them. It just keeps going. It's I kind of like that one, but so you can keep going with that. And then you have the move one. So that's where you can rotate, flip, and move. And then you have the size so that you can make it larger or smaller. And then you have the duplicate. And then the delete just gets rid of the whole thing. So what's ever selected. So, and I can't, they're not going to let you select something inside. So right at the moment, I'm going to say I don't think so, but I'm not going to be definite. Okay.
Sounds good. Cathy, one more question for you. Amanda wants to know, can you take it to the ScanNCut, or no, is it specifically just for sublimation?
Okay, that's a good question. It all depends on if it has a picture down here. You see this little printer here? That means it's a print only for here. Let's go back here. And if you look at some of these, some of them have two icons on them. Let's look at, let's go back here and see all. So if you look, all of these are sewing. All you see is a machine here. But some of them have a combination, so they can be sewing and printing. So let's go back here. And let's go to, let's come here. Okay. And let's look right here. Do you see this design here? That's embroidery, cutting, printing, and sublimation. So it all depends on the design, what you can do with it. So if I pick like this one, I can pick cutting, embroidery, printing, or sublimation.
Oh, nice.
So there is, so you just have to look at what it says it can do. Does that make sense?
That definitely makes sense. Amanda, does that make sense? I would say yes.
Okay. So if you look in these little corners here, it's going to have different things that it can do. And usually, so that's a machine, that's a machine. This is a ScanNCut, and that's a ScanNCut. But some of them will have multiple things on it. Multiple pictures. So it all depends on what picture you see as to what it will do. Okay.
There's such fun things in there. Oh my gosh, you could flip through that for days.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just, these are just popular ones. And then if you write in here combination, you're going to get the combination. So you can see here that this is printing and ScanNCut. This is printing, ScanNCut, and machine. So sometimes you'll come to the combination and you can see quite a few. This is printing and embroidery. So I printed this out, and I think the butterfly is the embroidery. So this is printing and embroidery. So if we come here, that's the preview there, and it just is fun. You can do a lot of fun things with it. Yeah, I do have that printed out. I can maybe get it later on. Okay, so is there any questions about ScanNCut? I mean, not ScanNCut, but about Artspira?
Nope, it looks like everybody's saying they love it.
Yeah, and with the ScanNCut, when I did cut those, I made sure that I had my half cut on. So, and I'm sure everybody knows what half cut is. But because I only wanted to cut this and not my carrier sheet, I just did a half cut, and it only cut through the heat transfer vinyl and didn't cut this. So make sure that when you're going to do something like heat transfer vinyl, make sure that you have your half cut on so it doesn't cut all the way through, because that would be a bit of a mess.
Hot mess.
Doing it individually, yes, I'd rather do it like this than the other way. But it's one of those things that you don't use it all the time, but you have to remember to turn it off and turn it back on when you need it. If you don't turn it off, then you have to recut, but that's okay. And then if you have one of these tools, this is a great weeding tool. So I love this. It really works really well. This is a Brother weeding tool. So, and it's really nice to pick out the centers of the letters when you need to get rid of them. Okay.
Lorraine, she's on her tablet today. That's what she's on. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn this off and move it. So I'll maybe gone for a little while and then turn on another camera.
All right. So while she's switching that, ask your questions below. We always do that so you don't get seasick, although it's kind of fun. Yeah, Julian. Julian says, when you use half cut, don't forget to unselect when you're cutting fabric. LOL. Yeah, so true. Oh, you're welcome, Lorraine. All right, if you guys have questions, though, drop them in, because Cathy loves taking those. Yeah. And this is such a cute project. So now I just have to figure out, Cathy, I'm going to go in there and I have to figure out how to spell Wingie. W-I-N-G-I-E, I think. Wingie Camp. I'm sure the kids are not watching today. So, Bev, can you use the Artspira app if you don't have a Brother machine? No, the Artspira app works with the Brother machine. But that being said, I want to say something about this printer, because we talked about this last week on the live show. You do not have to use Artspira with Sublimation Printer. You can print from one of your files that you have on your computer. You just have to download the printer software, just like you do with other printers, right to your computer. I did that with my with the other one too back there in the corner. So I can print right here from my computer. So that is one cool thing. All right, go ahead, Cathy. I see you back.
Yes. So here is the little lunch bag. And I get myself so backwards here. Anyway, there we go. So this is just a little lunch bag. And you use the hook and loop tape and then the insulation, the silver and padded insulation. There's a layer of that. So these pieces here, if you'd like to write them down, you need 2 handles, and they are, so you need 2 of these, and they are 3 1/8 inch by 12 1/2 inches.
3 1/8 inch by 12 1/2 inches, did you say?
Yes. I mean, you could do 3 or 3 1/4. You don't have to do 1/8, but anyway, that's okay. Just what I did.
3-ish by 12 1/2.
Yes, exactly. And then you're going to cut. This is what I was talking about: the silver, the insulation, and the padding in the back. And that is a piece that is. Let me see. I think I did that wrong. I think I folded it in half. 10. Yeah. Okay. So it'd be 11 1/2 by 12 1/4. And then these little corner cuts out.
Cathy, just cut one of those?
No, you need 2, 1 for each side.
All right, 2 of those.
And then these little corners are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So you do that on one end. So what we're actually doing here is, so I kind of finished a little piece here so I could show you a few things. So this is that corner. And so we're going to have a boxed corner, but we just cut those and sew them in.
We can't see that. Bring that over to the camera if you want, if you're pointing on a corner. we have no idea.
Well, I guess I should look at where the camera is, shouldn't I? Maybe that helped. Instead of looking at the... Is that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, now we can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. So instead of boxing the corners after you sew it together, you're going to box the corners before you sew your 2 pieces together. So this is 1/2 of the bag. And then I'm going to sew the other half and then sew the 2 pieces together. That makes sense?
Yep.
Kind of, sort of. Okay. So you need 2 of these. And then 2 of the main fabric. So it's the same thing with the corners at the bottom. Well, and then you need 2 of the lining. Same thing, corners at the bottom. So after you sew first you're going to sew your straps together. So there's all kinds of ways to turn your straps. And I just have a few here that I wanted to show you. So one way I think is kind of neat is if you can't find your safety pin, or if you don't have a tube turner, you can use a pencil or a chopstick. So this was kind of hard to get started, but once I get my pencil in there, in between everything, then I can just push like this. And I've got it turned. Well, maybe. You see how it's coming out of there? So I got my tube turned. Well, kind of. There we go. It's gotten bunched up there, but you get the idea. So you can do that with just a pencil. Of course, you're going to take your pencil and put it right about 2 inches, 1.5 inches up onto your fabric. And then you're going to sort of move your fabric around so you can get it kind of in the center there. And then you just start moving it down. And then you just keep going until it's in there, and then you're able to turn it. So if you can't find your safety pin, or if you can't find a tube turner, then just use your pencil or chopstick. Of course, you can always sew a ribbon in there, sew the top up, and then pull the ribbon. There's just all kinds of ways, and I'm sure that everybody has their own favorite way to do it. Of course, the safety pin, that's the one that I have used for years. And you just take your safety pin and push it in there, and then move it out. And once you get it started, then you're good to go, just as long as your safety pin doesn't open. But there you go. And so then you can turn it that way. And one of the tools that you can purchase is a tube turner. So you have this little tool here that has a little pigtail at the end. I don't know if you can see that or not. And you're going to take it and put it on your tube. And move it all the way down. And then, of course, your wire goes off into the air and you lose it. And then you're going to take your wire and you're going to put it into the tube. And move it all the way up, and then twist that little pigtail till it comes out, and then you're going to just start pulling. Now, as you can see, I'm not using the fabric that I did on the bag because it was hard to pull through there. It was thick, and so it's hard to get it through that tube, but you can see how easy that was. So if you have something long, you're probably going to want to get a tube turner. They're really nice. Okay. Is there any questions about turning things?
Nope. Oh, Barbara, that's hilarious. After years of stabbing myself whenever the safety pin popped open, I invested in a set of tube turners. Good job, Barbara.
Yes.
Very similar things have happened to me.
All right. Well, it looks like I didn't thread my machine, so I'll have to go through the heartbreak of threading the machine. I mean, it's so hard, you know? Okay. Anyway, so there we go. And now I'm going to use a bi-level foot. I don't know how many of you have used a bi-level foot, but there is a right one and a left one. So it's not that the right one is right or wrong, it's just on the right side and the left one's on the left side. So if you look at the foot, and I'm going to turn it around, you're going to see that you have a ledge over here. And so it gives me a space for my hook and loop tape to sit, so the foot will be flat and it will sew it better. So I'll put the edge of my hoop and loop tape right up against here and sew it down. So the bi-level feet are very nice if you have something that is not level, and you can use these feet to sew it on and the foot will stay level. One thing with these feet is when you go to put it on the machine, because it's a bi-level foot, do you see how crooked it sits there? So sometimes you may have to help it a little bit to get it on there. There you go. So you may have to lift up this part of the toe just to get it on there. So let me see if I can find my bag here. So I have the hook side of the hook and loop tape, and I'd use this double-sided tape. So I like to use double-sided tape, and I put it on the back of it and put it here so it's going to stay in place. So I like to keep my double-sided 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape somewhere close because I tend to use it a lot. So I'm going to come in here And I'm going to set this underneath the foot, and I have this edge of my hook and loop tape right up against the edge of this foot here. And then I'm going to lower my foot. Now I want to go ahead and I'm going to turn on, and I don't think you can see my screen, but I am going to turn on my guide, and I'm going to take my guide and I'm going to move it over to 8.5. So I have my red guide right here, right at the edge of the tape. And my needle position, I'm going to use my left and right shift, and I'm going to turn it, and you can maybe see the new needle move. I'm going to do 2.75. Can you see the needle moving? So it's going to move over here. So it was in the center, it was at 3.5, and now it's going to move over to here. And then all I have to do is sew. And then I would turn it and sew the other side. But there you go. And you've got it all sewn on there.
So easy to do. Hey, is
Yeah.
there a letter on that foot, Cathy? Because that did not come. Someone was asking.
These are, it's SA 104 for the left and SA 103 for the right.
Great.
And they're useful for so many things, sewing on your binding and a lot of different things. So with this, I wanted to use the right. If I was doing my binding, I'd probably want to use the left. So there is a reason for both of them.
So I'm here right now, Yolanda. She's asking. I'm digging through my Luminaire box right now to check. Because I've never paid attention if that foot was in here. Nope, I don't see it.
No, it's not an accessory with the machine. It is a separate purchase.
You know what foot I forgot about, Cathy, though? As I'm
What's
going
that?
through here, I forgot about this straight stitch one.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah.
So is there any more questions for the machine, or should I just come back?
They're all loving it. Nope, no questions that I see right now.
Okay.
So come on back to us. If
All
you guys
right.
have questions, drop them in the chat. For those of you that haven't seen the beautiful containers, this was the Luminaire box. I love these because you can organize all your feet. And even if you have extra feet, there's room in the bottom, even if it didn't come with your machine. That's where I just found this one. Sometimes I go through here and I forget about certain feet, Cathy. That's why I love it when you guys show other things, because I'll think, wait a minute, I think I bought that foot like 15 years ago and I never use it.
Yeah, it's amazing. One of these days I'd like to show the circular sewing attachment. I'm sure somebody else has, but those are really fun too.
Oh my gosh, that one, I haven't seen that used in a while. I did a video on YouTube for that years ago on the Quattro, believe it or not. And in fact, I have to go look. I'm going to leave you up for a second. I think I have my pillow that I did because it's so much fun.
It is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of things, decorative work. You can sew. I don't know if you've seen the napkins, the circular napkins for Christmas that you fold into a Christmas tree. So you can do a decorative. Yeah, you can do some hemming with that. It's just a lot of fun.
Didn't you do that? You did that in the serger class, didn't you? The serger master class, those napkins?
I did a circle. Yeah, I think so.
So if you guys have the airflow serger, I always remind you at this point in time on this date, the airflow serger, all you have to do is register your machine. You get a master class with Cathy and I and Cathy Stipe. That was a fun class, 14 full, huge lessons. And also the Stellaire register your Stellaire at this time, the Stellaire 2, by the way, and the Luminaire. Here you go, Cathy. This was my pillow.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. There's yarn, there's ribbon, there's decorative stitches. You definitely have to show that next time. I'm putting it on your calendar. Definitely. All right, a couple questions for you. Susie says, please show that attachment. We'll definitely add that to the list, Susie. And Susie, I was cracking up. She wants to know what's the age limit for the Wingy camp. Can she come? Sure, Susie. Of course you can.
Of course.
Yep. Well, I will definitely put that request in for that. Foot question from Jan. Why does the 1/4-inch foot have the slant on the left side of the foot? It always gets caught under the quilt seam.
Oh, the flange for the 1/4-inch. That is, if you look, we have all kinds of different 1/4-inch feet, and it's just what you prefer. If you don't like how that works for you, then we have a different 1/4-inch foot for you. So the flange is there for people who like to just bump their up against the side, and they, if they know that they're coming up there, they use their stiletto or whatever to help push that underneath, so they're prepared for it, but they love the foot. I personally, this is not what everybody does, but I like to use my end foot and get my stitch width all the way over to 7.0, and the edge of the end foot then is a perfect 1/4-inch. So I really like to use my end foot because it's a wide foot. It really holds the fabric well. And when you go all the way over to 7, you're at the right side of our stitch opening. And so the needle can't deflect as much. So you really get a better straight stitch. So I like to do that. So, I mean, there's just different feet for different people and different ways of doing things. Yes. So, I do use the flange sometimes, but often I go to my end foot.
So, speaking of feet, last week, Cathy, I was making these coasters. I'm looking around because I think they're all on my boat now. But I used a vinyl, and it was so slippery. And then I put that sticky back on the back. That end foot sewed across that icky sticky vinyl so easy, so fast. The new end foot. I mean, it is amazing. You forget about that. I use the move it foot on one, and that worked great. And then the end foot, I mean, I think there's we should just have every week you have to test a different foot in your box. We should have everyone do that so they remember what's there.
It's, the new N plus foot has that coating on the back of it that makes it really, really nice to use.
That's the one I was thinking of, the N plus foot.
Yeah, and it stabilizes the foot with the little arms that come out on it.
Yeah.
So it stabilizes the foot. It's really a nice foot. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. So everybody has said thank you. I don't see any other questions rolling in.
Good.
Amanda, she says she wants a brother feet class. I agree. Amanda, there's so many good videos that we've had through the years showing different feet. And it's almost like you forget to use them until you see them again. That's the part,
Exactly. We don't use our toolbox as much as we need to.
That's definitely it. Put your best foot forward boot camp. I like that, Barbara. I like that. All right, Cathy, great project. And super easy stuff that we can do before, especially if you guys are having friends over, family over, grandkids over, whomever, that you're doing a little camp. What a great idea and something they can keep with them.
Yeah. I think it would be really fun at Christmas time to do the aprons for your little ones to help you with cookies. Yeah.
Oh, that would be. But I don't make cookies anymore. I'm not allowed to, Cathy. The kitchen ends up to be a disaster. And then if I don't put them in the right containers, they get hard and they make really good. What are the things that we used to make that sit out and never eat? Gingerbread house?
Coffee pucks?
Perfect.
There you go. You're not making cookies. You're making hockey pucks. There you go.
Hockey pucks. That's definitely it. You know what? I'm just going to change the top of the recipe. Instead of chocolate chip cookies by Grandma, it's going to say hockey pucks by by Wingy. All right. Cathy, thanks for all the laughs, all the great tips. Everybody's saying, we always pick up such great tips, and we so appreciate it. And we know what not to do on the sublimation printer now. So
yeah, exactly. Check those and use your parchment paper so you don't get shadowing.
there you go. All right. Thanks, Cathy. Everyone.
Oh, thank you so much.
Next week. No show on Thursday this week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Until next time, happy sewing. Bye.
Bye-bye.